Yo, what is going on everyone? Guiding Light here, and in this video, I want to talk to you guys about something that was pretty insane that actually happened to me recently, and I wanted to see what it is that you guys thought about it, and whether or not something like this has ever happened to you. So, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about coincidences, and I guess you could call it synchronicities. There's a lot of different things you can define this as, but in this video, I want to talk to you guys about a few coincidences that happened to me over the past couple weeks and see what it is that you guys actually think about that. Now, in this video, we're going to be playing some Destiny 1. Now, I'm only able to play doubles right now in D1 because for whatever reason, it is not recognizing my DLC. And so for right now, I am stuck playing some doubles. So hope you guys do enjoy the gameplay. So this all started for me maybe about a couple weeks back, 2 weeks ago or so, where the first set of coincidences began to happen. Now, if you guys have had any sort of coincidences happen to you, let me know down in the comments. But this all started for me back a couple weeks ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was going out to get some food and I was just having a normal day trying to enjoy my morning. Went out to get a little bit of food and I went into this restaurant to go and pick up some food that I ordered. Now, as soon as I got inside the restaurant, the place was absolutely packed. Just to put it into perspective, it was like super, super packed in there, and I just had a to go order. So I'll go in there, tell them that I have a to go, tell them the name, and they just simply hand me out the order. Now, before handing me the order, though, the server looked at me and they looked at me all strange, and they're like, you're really lucky. And at first I didn't even actually hear what they said because the restaurant, it's so crowded in there. Everybody's talking. All you hear is like silverware and the crowd talking. So at first I didn't even hear what they said. And so I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? What did you say?" And then they were like, "Oh, you're lucky." And I was like, why do you say that?" And then they just said, "Oh, never mind, never mind." Now, I just walked out of the restaurant, tried to go about my morning, enjoyed my food. It was a pretty good day. It was actually pretty nice out. So at first, I was like, well, that was a little strange. I don't know why somebody, upon first meeting them, they don't know anything about me, never seen me, heard me before, randomly comes up and is like, this is a lucky dude. This is a really lucky guy. So that at first, I didn't think much of it, but as I was eating my food, I'm like, why would somebody just randomly say that I'm so like a lucky apparently? That's very strange. But I tried to ignore it and just, went along with my day. Now, for the next few days after this, as soon as this person told me how lucky I was, even though they didn't tell me why I was lucky or what I was lucky for. Now, I tried to read into this. I started a little kind of overthinking at first. I'm like, maybe they were just thinking I was lucky because my order was actually ready. And as soon as I walked in, the food was ready, it was there, and they were so busy that morning, she considered me lucky because I my food was ready. However, I really don't think that was the reason why they said it. Like I said, I have no idea why it is they even actually said that. And like I said, I just tried to write it off as maybe something I was overthinking. But over the next few days, this is sort of where things got weird. And this is where I want to know if things like this has happened to you before. Maybe it's a placebo effect of just, overthinking, or maybe this is actually something that we should, be thinking more about, like all these coincidences which always happen. Because now, right after this person told me that I was lucky, with over the next 3 or 4 days, every time I go outside, it pretty much seems like every time I look anywhere, all I keep seeing is 777. Now, at first, I wouldn't really think much into this. There's always random numbers all over the place. People have license plates, there's street names, things like that. They're always going to be coming across numbers all the time. And there's only like different types of numbers, 0 through 9. And so basically, you're always going to eventually come across a bunch of numbers that are always going to be the same because there's really not that many different combinations of numbers. However, it is sort of strange when you come across them at specific times because although there's always going to be numbers around you, all you to be around those numbers and to actually perceive them, not be on your phone distracted, actually like, look at them and see them is a totally different story. So now over the next 2 or 3 days, I keep seeing 777. I keep getting references back to Bungie. If you guys didn't know, Bungie, their number is 777. It's like really known there that they just love the number 7 over at Bungie. Now, over the next few days, I kept seeing 777, and it kept reminding me back to this experience I had at that restaurant where the person randomly decided to say that I was so lucky, even though nothing had really happened. Now, like I said, guys, I hadn't really been reading too much into this except until yesterday, because yesterday is when this actually got a little bit insane. Now, we had the first coincidence where the person just randomly said I was lucky at the restaurant. That wasn't really too much of a coincidence because it was the first time somebody had really mentioned it to me.
Now, the second time sort of became a coincidence because of all the 777s that I continued to see, all the references back to Bungie as well. Now, this third coincidence, which is where I sort of started to realize, okay, maybe this isn't much of a coincidence anymore, especially now that it's happened three times. It's absolutely kind of crazy to think that, what are the chances that this happens once are pretty slim, twice are even more rare, but now three times for this to happen is absolutely insane. And the way that it happened now, it's I don't even know what the chances of something like this are, but let me go ahead and explain what happened to me yesterday that was so ridiculous that I actually had to make this video. Now, a few days ago, as I was going to work, there was a few things that happened to me, which again, I didn't really read too much into, but then they ended up tying back together to be absolutely insane. So a few days ago, as I was going out to work, I actually came across a lost and found item. I was out and somebody had dropped an item and I ended up finding it. And I tried to give it back to them. However, they had gotten away, and unfortunately, I was not able to get this item back to them in time. Now, this was actually a cell phone, so I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. I figured, hey, you know what? Eventually, they're going to find a friend or something. They'll call this cell phone, and eventually, I'll get it back to them. But unfortunately, that actually never ended up happening. The whole night went on. I was kind of waiting to eventually have this phone ring, and eventually, it never actually did. So, what happened was I ended up just turning the phone off and waiting around. Now, the next day, eventually somebody finally came across, maybe realizing that this phone had been lost. And so they gave it a call, and I go ahead and pick up the phone. Now, when I answer the phone, I'm just letting them know, hey, I found your phone. Don't worry. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this back to you. Don't worry about it. So I arranged a time, a few hours. We arranged a time for later that night where I am going to go and give them this phone. Now, again, guys, I had almost pretty much forgotten about all of these instances in the past where I like, because a few weeks have gone by now at this point since I had, been told apparently that I was so lucky. And, I originally kept seeing those 777s and being all referenced back to Bungie. Now, at first, I didn't really read too much into it. Like I said, guys, I had kind of forgotten about it at this point because it had been maybe 2 or 3 weeks in between this time. Now, this is where things got absolutely insane, though, is when I went to go and give this person the phone. So eventually, I arrange a time to go and get them this phone. I head out to the place that we say we're going to meet at, and I arrive in the parking lot. Now, as I arrive in the parking lot, guys, I just want to kind of explain what's going on, guys. It's extremely dark, it's nighttime, and there's really nobody at this restaurant or this place that we said that we were going to meet at. Now, I decide, hey, okay, I'm going to pull into this parking spot right next to the door, and I go ahead and open up my door. Now, as soon as I open up my door, this is where things got a little crazy because I open up my door and there is a fortune cookie on the ground right next to my car. Now, the reason why this is actually kind of insane is because about 6 months ago, I had actually come across a different fortune cookie, and it was kind of like the same experience all over again. I had a deja vu, and I'm like, wait a minute, another fortune cookie on the ground. Now, the reason why this is so weird, guys, is because I was not near any Chinese restaurants. Both times that this has happened to me, I was never around any Chinese restaurants. And so I would like there isn't even anywhere that these fortune cookies now could have came from. That's what's so weird about it. So in order for me to stumble across or me to come across this fortune cookie, this person had to first lose their phone. I had to then arrange that exact time where I would be there at the same time with this fortune cookie. And somebody else had to, I guess, drop this fortune cookie in the parking lot, and I had to choose to basically park in that exact parking spot. So that's why I say when I say that this isn't really a coincidence because the chances of all of these things lining up and happening are so unbelievably slim, especially given the fact that I had come across another fortune cookie in a similar circumstance a few months back. Now, at first, I did not want to pick up this fortune cookie. It was already making me feel really strange that I came across another one of these cookies. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, something told me like, dude, don't pick up that fortune cookie because if you open it up and the fortune on that cookie is anything relevant, it's gonna be so freaking creepy. But my you know my curiosity got me and I had to pick up this fortune cookie, guys, because like I said, the chances of me being there, and we've had like crazy storms the last couple weeks, crazy wind, and so like I'm saying, guys, the fact that this fortune cookie was there unopened is just absolutely insane. And so let me go ahead and actually show you a clip of this because I ended up recording this just because the chances of this were happening were so crazy that I ended up recording it just to make sure I wanted to get a live reaction of what was going to be on this cookie. So let's go ahead and open up the fortune cookie really quick, guys, and see exactly what this fortune cookie said. So lo and behold, the cookie had actually been crushed, but somehow the bag had not been opened, which I thought was another thing that was kind of strange. Because how is it? These bags are usually filled with air. Like as soon as you break the cookie or squeeze the bag, it usually breaks open the bag. So the fact that this is all intact is absolutely insane. Now, like I said, guys, I probably shouldn't have picked up this fortune cookie. I kind of did it to myself, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at what this cookie actually says on the wrapper because it's actually wild. So I pop open this fortune cookie and look, lucky you. Make this choice and everything comes out for the best. Now this is absolutely wild, guys, because if you really think about this, like the fact that this fortune cookie was on the ground, that I found it, that it was still unopened, that it wasn't wet after all the storms, that the wind blew it into this parking lot, that it said I was lucky on it, that the person even lost this phone, that I found their phone, all of it absolutely wild. So at this point, I don't even know really what to think about this, whether it's a coincidence or just a rare occurrence or just another part of life. But I really am interested to see what it is that you guys think about this. So please put it down in the comments. Or if you guys have had any sort of similar experiences with crazy coincidences or like synchronicities like this, please let me know down in the comments. Now, like I think it's honestly a part of life that everybody's gonna come across these coincidences or these synchronicities, however you want to describe them, a couple times in life. However, this at this point has become insane. I think this is the most insane synchronicity I've honestly ever come across. Now, you can honestly argue that it is a placebo effect, that like maybe I'm just overthinking, and the chances of all these things being tied together are probably like, they're probably not tied together at all. But like I said, guys, I just want to know what your opinion is. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.